Hi everybody, it's Connie, and today I want to show you another card. Now, I know that a lot of you are getting a little tired of cards or you don't work on cards, but this one has a scrapbook page with it that I am going to random draw. Anybody who puts any kind of comment on this video, I will draw for the scrapbook page in about a week. So again, I am using this You're Not Old set, this little woman with the cake. I know you're getting totally sick of her, but I don't have a lot of people stamps, and this one really lends itself well to having a person in the center stage. This is called center stage, and so I want to show you how to do this really cool effect. I think it's really neat. I can't take any credit whatsoever because this is one that a lot of the consultants online are starting to do, and I wanted to show you how to make it. So basically you need to start with a card base, and this I'm just going to start here with your standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 base. And just to save time so you're not watching me do all the busy work, you just stamp your image right in the middle of the card base. Somewhere a little on the lowish side, because when you do your kind of spotlight effect, it's better if it's not up high. So I did her in kind of that bottom 2/3. The other thing while you've got your stamp out is to stamp onto some sort of scratch paper or post-it note or something and cut out the image and make a mask. Now this technique requires a lot of shading and masking, so I just wanted to tell you the thin cuts don't work great for that, because thin cuts make like a little tiny border of an edge and it'll leave a little halo around. Now you could use your thin cut and then you still have to trim it. No matter what you do, you still have to trim it and make a mask. So that's the first 2 steps right there. Remember we talked about this before, when you make a scene, you need to do the foreground first, whatever is up front first, and then the background goes after. That's why you need the mask. And so I want to draw the floor. So I just use a ruler and a pencil, or a ruler and a marker or something. But basically, I'm going to get this straight on my grid line, and I'm going to make my ruler nice and straight, and I'm just going to make the floor back here. Okay, now you could just shade the bottom, shade the top, 2 different colors, but the wood floor on this is really cool. It's a cool technique, and I want to show it to you. So back when I was in art class, one of the things we had to learn was perspective, and when you are making things like this, depending on where you're sitting, your perspective changes. And hi Karen. And if you were looking to the side, for example, your perspective would be different than if you looked head on. And even if you look head on, everything doesn't just go in straight lines all the way up and down. It always goes to a vantage point. So when you look out, you look far away, you need a little vantage point for everything to kind of get smaller, 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 and stop. And we're just going to put a dot, just make a random point somewhere behind this lady, behind your image. It can be anywhere. And then we're going to draw some wood planks. Basically, you line your ruler up with the vantage point, and then there's my first wood plank. Now my next one, I'm going to keep my ruler on this little pencil dot, and about every few, like half an inch, not quite half an inch, I'm gonna make another board. Now notice I still have my ruler lined up here at this little dot, and then I am just going to keep making wood planks. And notice it feels weird when you're drawing them to think about that one didn't show up very good. Let me try again. All right. It feels weird that, you know, your wood planks are gonna start looking like sun rays or something, but that is exactly what makes them look more real. So, all right. So we're just gonna do that. And basically you do that on both sides. Now I have to flip it this way to do this side because I want to be able to see my dot, and I want to be able to see how big they are. Notice I'm not being all that careful. And so if some of them are a little bigger, some of them are a little smaller, that's okay. All right, so I know you're getting tired of watching me draw lines. Notice I'm still lining up with this dot. All right, let's get one more in there. Okay, so there's my wood floor. The other thing that I think makes this look more real is to add just a little bit of wood trim around here, like that. So cool, right? It really does look like a wood plank floor. Now, when you're coloring, you can use a marker, you can use ink. Sometimes I just shade the whole thing, but I just want to just show you, like when you're coloring your planks, so I'm just using the alcohol markers here and obviously not being careful because I'm not going to use this one right away, but I like to take the dark shade and kind of go along the edges of the wood and do the lighter color on the inside. And then I like to kind of draw some lines, maybe a little burr hole on the planks. And I just think that that adds a lot to it. If you look at my finished one, you can see the little lines I drew. Not too careful. As a matter of fact, if you look right there, you can see I just kind of went wonkadelic with my dark color, and obviously it doesn't really take away from the card. I mean, no one is going to notice. So you color that whole floor, right? We're going to just pretend the whole floor is colored and it's done. The next part we need to do is the wall. And I didn't want to color it in with marker. I want to show you how to do that using the mask. And so I put the mask down and I made the wall green. It is Sweet Leaf. And I'm using one of these fun brushes. This is actually a makeup brush. Picket Fence makes brushes like these, and they're kind of pricey, but I think I got, I want to say I got 9 different brushes of different sizes for like $8 or $9 from Amazon. So just think about that if you like these brushes. I'm torn on these brushes because I miss the color box sponges. I really like how they shade. I like how they blend, but anyway, I'm going to show you this. Now the other thing you need to keep in mind is you kind of need to make sure you don't get it on your floor. So I'm going to make a big mask going across with a piece of paper so I don't get green on my wood floor. All right. So, wall done, and I take my masks off and look, the lady underneath is uncolored. Everything looks great. My next step would be to color in the lady, okay, with markers or whatever, and pretend everything is colored and beautiful. Because now we're gonna, so it looks like this, all colored, looks great. I want to show you how to make the spotlight feature. And the way you do that is just to cut a kind of an oval. This is just a piece of, you know, junk paper. But basically, you just want to cut an oval. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, this is not perfect. But you want to lay this down on the base, okay? And cutting this out of Post-it note would be great too. Hi, Heather. So cutting an oval, and you want to kind of put it below, around her feet, like she would be standing in that spotlight. That is your spotlight. And then the next thing that you want to do is start shading. We want to make a light that comes down, and so you need two places at the top, okay? And obviously not very precise. I'm going to use charcoal and black ink with my blender. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a piece of scratch paper as a mask, and I'm going to line it up with that notch I just made, and I'm going to line it up with the circle at the bottom. You see that? And I want to have, you don't really have to worry about the mask on her at this point, because we're just doing the shadow where the light isn't, right? The darkness behind the spotlight. So we're gonna just do some gray, and you can make it as dark or as light as you want, right? And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you have your base. You line up your paper there and with your little oval. So you're making your spotlight. And then you're going to do the same thing with the gray. I'm kind of messy with ink, so. All right, so I would probably make this a little darker if I was doing the whole card to keep. I just want to show you the technique. Okay, and then the last part would be to take your oval and do the front, because if you don't do this front part, you're going to have it be kind of, it'll look kind of weird with your spotlight. You won't have that cool circle effect around it. All right, ta-da, cool, right? But it's still not quite dark enough in the edges, and that's where the black comes in. If you take a little black and hit it in the edges, it starts really getting darker in the shadows, and it really does start looking a lot cooler. Like the whole effect just really pops. And you may have to, you know, get your mask out again to do the darkness. There you go. So we're gonna pretend that's all done. Ta-da! That's basically what we end up with. Isn't that cool? That is a really neat effect, and the whole thing really just pops if you use the more black around the whole thing. You can see where I did the black versus the gray. And at first it feels wrong to color the entire thing and then cover it up with shadow like this, but you can see the effect turns out really neat. So I just want to remind you that this set is in the current catalog. I believe it's probably not available much longer. They've been trying to extend some of the stamp sets, and some of them are available online, even if they are technically retired. So here is the April Stamp of the Month. I did another one, spotlight card with this, and in this case I did not make a circle base like a spotlight. I made it look more like there was a light coming from the top and just shining down. So the difference, if you had a particular image, say I wanted to highlight just the fish or something, you would want the spotlight on him. So you would cut your oval like this and make your spotlight come down so that your fish takes center stage. But I wanted kind of the whole thing too. The other thing I did in this one that was kind of fun was the Toffee shimmer brush is in stock, and it is so cool. When you color with it, it really does look like sand, and it shines. It's got a lot of shimmer to it. I don't know if you can see the shimmer, but it's really cool looking. And so I did that on the sand in the bottom. So I thought that was pretty fun. One thing I noticed when I used the stamp set was I have no idea what color to color fish. I was like, are these red? Are these pink? What color are these normally? I know the clownfish is normally orange. I guess it really doesn't matter if it's my own world. So that's the April Stamp of the Month. Only good for a couple more days. I know you messaged me, Heather, about this one, and the ones that I had left are gone. So I'll message you after this, and we'll see if we can work something out of it. I don't know if I have enough orders. The other set I'm using today, because I told you I'm going to show you how to use this on a scrapbook page. I wanted to use, this is that birthday set that I talked to you about, birthday greetings, where they brought back some of the older sets that people were really excited about. And this is the birthday set that I was excited about because I love the messages that are on it, and I missed out on it the first time it came by. So it is still on my website right now. I did look, and this is amazing, so I was really happy. So I decided to start using more purple. I don't use very much purple. It's not really in my wheelhouse. But I sell a lot of purple cardstock, and this is Thistle. And so I thought it would be fun to do a 2-page layout using purple. I put it with espresso and with the sweet leaf, and that was one of the reasons why I made the background on this sweet leaf and her dress purple, because I wanted it to coordinate. So I'm just gonna mat this on here like that, and then I can use it on the scrapbook page. So I could use it like this. You can see the page. I don't know if you can see it very well. Or could use it on the first page. I just think that turned out really cute. And then I have a couple of sentiments. This one says, somebody better go get the fire extinguisher. And this one says, blow out the candles, wish away, you are the superstar of the day. And so I thought that one would be cute. I did not attach those because whoever gets this layout might want to move things around depending on what pictures that you have. So if you comment on this video, I am going to random draw for someone to receive this layout, and I'm going to include, you know, all the little parts and pieces so that you can put it together how you want. The background is already put together, and I use some of my alphabet stamps to make the title. So that's already attached. Everything else is attached. So some of the stamping that I did on here, again, using this birthday set, it had a little hooray, it had little candles and stars, and so that's what I used. If you look close, I used the hooray across the top, stars. This is that tone on tone, espresso on espresso cardstock. And then down here I used the candles in sweet leaf. And I just thought that was, I thought that page turned out pretty cool. For someone who isn't a big purple fan, this one kind of sold me. I kind of like how this looks. So that is all I have to show you today. And I'll message you, Heather. And don't forget to put a comment on this video so that you have a chance to win the layout. Thanks a lot.